Remember this guy?
I'm here to sing to America.
It's been over 20 years since his infamous audition, but we still remember William Hung. The most famous thing he ever did might be that cringy cover of She Bangs, but you may have seen him in some surprising places since then, specifically the other side of a high-stakes poker table. Believe it or not, Hung actually managed to land a record deal on the back of his American Idol appearance, which is more than many of his fellow contestants can say. In February 2004, he was signed to Coke Entertainment and quickly got to work. His debut album, Inspiration, hit shelves the same year. It included one original track, the annoyingly catchy Free, alongside a string of covers. Hung's love for Latin pop really shined through on this one, and the tracklist featured unique takes on songs by Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin. It ultimately sold a respectable 200,000 copies, hitting number 34 on Billboard's US chart and topping the independent chart. Not long after, Hung put out his second release, the 2004 album of Christmas standards, entitled We're Serious, Hung for the Holidays. Sadly, even an icon like Hung wasn't free from the sophomore curse. The festive LP only wound up selling 35,000 copies. Still, he quickly followed it up in 2005 with a third LP, Miracle, Happy Summer from William Hung, which sold even worse. Maybe that one could have used a punny title? Even so, putting out 3 releases in 2 years is nothing to sneeze at. Discussing these achievements with the New York Times, Hung said, "I think I represent a symbol of hope. I tell people all the time to never give up and keep trying until they succeed." Simon Cowell might not have let William finish his Idol audition, but many other TV hosts quickly remedied that. Hung showed up on virtually every TV talk show at the height of his fame, and even performed his infamous version of She Bangs with a full band and backup dancers on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Hung quickly pivoted his popularity into commercial work, appearing in ads for major brands like Ask Jeeves, AT&T, and Jack in the Box. It wasn't long before TV writers began to see his value too. He got shout-outs on the likes of Mad TV and even had cameos on a number of popular comedies. He popped up on George Lopez and famously played himself on Arrested Development while performing as the leader of William Hung and his Hung Jury, the house band for the daytime courtroom show parody Mock Trial with Jay Reinhold.
Hung Jury. It was perfect. It was so much fun.
Even years out from his Idol appearance, he was still grateful to be on the journey. As he told journalist Ricky Potts in 2018, "The entertainment career has been incredible. I met many famous and interesting people around the world. I learned so much that many people don't have the same chance to. I am very grateful for my fans and supporters." In addition to the studio and the small screen, Hung has also appeared in several movies since he entered the spotlight. The smiley singer popped up in a Chinese comedy named My Crazy Mother in 2005, and he's branched out into more serious fare since then. A few years after My Crazy Mother, Hung portrayed a character named Ting in the historical drama Railroad to Hell, a film set in the Old West that explores the exploitation of Chinese workers during the construction of the American railroads. Speaking to The Slant in 2018, Hung revealed that he was actually offered the chance to appear in a number of other films over the years, but he won't take on any roles that don't align with his image. He explained, "There was a movie deal where I would have had to use a lot of profanity or say bad things to other people. I mean, I would have gotten paid a substantial amount of money, but that's not right. That's not me, so I refused." But in classic Hung fashion, he kept his head held high and held out for jobs that made him feel better. And while he took a break for a while to pursue some of his many other job prospects, he did return to the film world in 2024. That summer, he was tagged in a series of photos from the set of upcoming comedy Downtown Bus. As of September 2025, there's no set release date for the film, though it's going to star some heavy hitters like Danny Trejo and Gary Busey. Hung may have an intense love for performing, but it turns out that he also has quite the analytical mind. Back when he auditioned for American Idol, he was actually studying for a degree in civil engineering. Speaking with Potts, Hung explained that he just happened to hear about nearby American Idol auditions on Fox News and decided to go for it. He reflected, "I just showed up like 3,000 other people did. I had no expectations, but somehow I made it past multiple rounds through staff members and producers. That's how I made it to see Randy, Paula, and Simon." After his appearance on the show blew up, Hung decided to take a break from school, but after 5 years of performing, recording, and rubbing shoulders with the Hollywood elite, it was time for a change. He enrolled at California State University Northridge and finished his degree in mathematics. And as it turned out, fame made school a bit easier this time around. As he told LA Weekly, "I was able to make more friends than my first 2 years in school." After graduating, Hung started working as a statistical analyst with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department in 2011. Among other things, his duties included calculating the probability of crimes in particular neighborhoods, and it seems he liked it quite a bit. As he told Potts, "My passion has always been math, it just took a while to end up as my career."
In life, you just make the most out of what you're given.
Impressively, alongside his record deal, acting gigs, and day job, Hung also found time to fall in love. After his Idol audition, Hung was fairly sexualized online, but usually in a pretty tongue-in-cheek way. We guess that's what you get when you get famous for butchering a cover of She Bangs. Even so, many saw the fresh-faced singer as an eligible bachelor, and he did get to meet some pretty beautiful women during his 15 minutes of fame. He was even spotted socializing with Paris Hilton at one point, though he never actually wound up with a celeb. In a personal essay for Our Life Vlogs, Hung wrote that he actually got married to someone he met on a Chinese dating site, and they divorced in less than a year. But when that didn't work out, he kept swinging and ultimately met and married Jian Taong after meeting her on the same website. Taong is a licensed vocational nurse, and the two tied the knot in 2014 in Alhambra, California. Speaking with people about the change, Hung said, "She's a fantastic wife, and I'm glad to have somebody to support me." Like many D-list celebrities, William got pretty into playing poker when his star was rising. But unlike many D-list celebrities, he was actually pretty good at it. He even went pro. According to poker listings, Hung reportedly made over $30,000 between 2014 and 2015 alone, $17,000 of which came from an impressive third-place finish in a Rio Deep Stacks event. He told the outlet that his first poker game was Low Limit Hold'em in Reno. He wound up making a little money and, like so many people before him, fell in love with the game. He explained how his background in statistical analysis helped him make the right calls at the table, but that his American Idol experience also made him a better player. He reflected, "It is easy to get short-stacked, and it is natural to just feel like giving up, but that is not a good attitude to have, because anything can happen in poker. If you play bad when your luck is bad, then you may not have a chance to turn things around when your luck is good." It's nice to see Hung's trademark positivity makes it into everything he does, but that enthusiasm would come back to bite him eventually. Most people think the roller coaster of Hung's career began with American Idol, but things started moving a little bit earlier than that. Back when he was still attending UC Berkeley, Hung noticed a poster advertising a school talent show. He told Potts that he decided there wouldn't be any harm in trying to perform, and it was there that he first covered She Bangs. Hung's bravery in that moment is commendable on its own, but what's even more impressive is the fact that he actually won the contest. He recalled, "The grand prize was a DVD player. That gave me the confidence to audition for American Idol." Now, we all know he didn't do quite as well on the show, but he became an undeniable piece of American Idol history, so it was only fitting that he returned for American Idol the farewell season in 2016. To Hung's credit, most people probably wouldn't come back after being told this.
"You can't sing, you can't dance, so what do you want me to say?"
But Hung's a unique case, and he clearly harbored no ill will toward the show. In fact, he found a way to reclaim his Idol reputation on his own terms. He even sang She Bangs during the final season to air on Fox. The whole return sequence was made even better by the fact that producers chose to bring him out right after Cowell's own surprise guest appearance. Hung has had more than his share of dreams brought to life, but they didn't stop after his return to American Idol. When he spoke to Potts in 2018, Hung said that he'd recently gotten some crazy news via an interview with Ricky Martin on the Los Angeles radio show Valentine in the Morning. On the show, Martin revealed that he would love to do a duet of She Bangs with Hung at his side.
And the radio station said, "If we find him, would you get him on stage?"
By the time of his interview with Potts, Hung was already in talks with Martin's manager to make it happen. Within days of that conversation, Hung joined Martin on stage for the last night of his 6th-show stint in Las Vegas. RuPaul's Drag Race judge Ross Matthews happened to be at that show, and he shared a snap of the long-overdue duet on X. The photo went down well with Matthews' followers, who had nothing but good things to say about Hung. As one wrote, "Thank you, smile of the day, 15 minutes of fame, still going." Some people replied that they were just happy that Hung was still popping up from time to time, while others celebrated the fact that Hung's positive attitude could still get him into such cool situations. Around the time that he hopped on stage with Martin, Hung also took a gig hosting Deadpool Karaoke to promote the release of Deadpool 2. Stand-up comedian, actor, and filmmaker Atsuko Okatsuka co-hosted, and the evening was full of hilarious and heartfelt performances. The event was intended to drum up publicity by having public figures get on the mic and share videos of themselves belting out songs from the movie's eclectic soundtrack. With a track list featuring the likes of Celine Dion, Cher, Dolly Parton, Diplo, and Skrillex, there was quite a selection to choose from. Actor Louis Tan, who actually appeared in Deadpool 2, performed a version of the Blackstreet classic No Diggity with film critic Markia McCarty and a number of Los Angeles-based influencers. Former Survivor contestant Mari Takahashi still went up and performed it with Hung. And that wasn't Hung's only duet of the evening. Fashion blogger Jenny Wu also jumped on the mic with him. Many of those in attendance were just kids when he made his infamous appearance on American Idol, but Hung's legacy clearly spans generations. Hung seemed happy with his career at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department when he spoke to LA Weekly back in 2012, but he's since found yet another calling he loves. On top of singing, dancing, statistical analysis, and poker, he's also gotten into motivational speaking.
I had a choice. Live my life with courage or hide in fear.
Hung describes himself as an empathy cultivator and told The Slant that one of the world's biggest problems right now is a lack of communication. So when groups bring him in to speak, that's one of his main focuses. He explained, "It's almost like there was a point where we really took the time to understand people for who they are, not based on color, not based on the way you look. I mean, now it's very polarizing. I think that's the right word. It's like, I'm right, you're wrong, you're stupid." It's that more black and white attitude toward communication that Hung tries to eradicate with his talks. Others must like that approach because he now has a TEDx license and gives talks at independently organized events that thousands of people have viewed online. It's been over 20 years since Hung got shut down by Simon, Randy, and Paula, and his feelings on that day have never changed. As he told The Slant, "It's okay not to make it to Hollywood. So what? It doesn't define me as a person, and it shouldn't define you as a leader, as a person, just because you fail at something." That's the way I see it, and I also feel that is the reason I still do what I do. Between his talks, regular interviews, and his social media presence, it's clear that Hung wants to get that message out to as many people as possible. In 2019, he also put his beliefs on paper by publishing the memoir and self-help book, Champion by Choice. Advance copies were sent out to a number of reviewers, and the early responses were encouraging. In her review, fellow inspirational author Dory Clark wrote, "Champion by Choice is a refreshing and powerful guide to tapping into your potential. His honest story is truly inspiring. This book is for anyone who has ever been knocked down and is ready to reinvent failure into unlimited success." Hung ultimately quit his job to become a professional poker player, but he soon ran out of luck. Speaking with people, he reflected that his fate was largely tied to greed. He soon went from poker to sports betting against his better judgment. A self-described gambling addict, his obsession with winning ultimately cost him his marriage. Gambling not only took a toll on Hung's marriage, it also affected his social life and mental health. On All In, the Addicted Gamblers podcast, Hung reflected on how he started isolating himself to gamble. More often than not, his moods would fluctuate depending on his wins.
If I win even like $100, I feel good. But when I lose even $50, I feel bad.
Both he and Tong eventually picked up on how drastically his gambling problem was impacting their lives, and Tong decided to walk away. Hung posted a candid letter addressed to his gambling problem on LinkedIn, where he revealed that he had been trying to quit the habit for years and often found himself putting it off. That feeling he got when he first won some money gambling began to fade, and his savings faded with it. By the time he was ready to change, Tong was gone too. Luckily, he eventually enrolled in Gamblers Anonymous and has been working through recovery for several years. In the process of overcoming his demons, Hung found love yet again. He married his third wife, Hannah Du, on May 6, 2023. Leading up to their wedding, the couple set up a page on Honey Fund where they shared several items, including dance classes and a year's worth of date nights on their wedding wish list. As you could expect for anyone with a public following, that post got mixed results. Some fans happily donated to the couple, while others criticized them for the move and suggested that money was better off spent on charity. Of course, Hung's a practiced hand at deflecting ridicule, and the lovebirds happily said their vows. To commemorate their first anniversary, Hung shared a series of photos and videos on Instagram as he reminisced about their first lap around the sun. Hung gushed over their relationship, writing in the caption, "What an amazing first year we had together. I am so grateful to find her. We went through our ups and downs, but I am now ready to thrive together." Speaking with people in 2024, Hung made it seem like he might be truly ready to settle down this time around. He returned to his day job at the Sheriff's Department, and he's begun work on another major project, starting a family. That's right, 2 might become 3 before too long, as Hung confirmed he and Hannah were trying for a baby. Now that he's got his family life in order, the next achievement Hung wants to check off his bucket list is a master's degree. The only thing is, he already has one. Back in 2015, Hung earned a master's in business administration from Marist University. 9 years later, he enrolled in National University to get another one, this time in data science. Hung is a star student in every sense of the word. In February 2025, he announced on Instagram that he'd made the Dean's List. In the post's caption, he wrote, "This recognition reflects countless hours of dedication, late late-night study sessions and a deep passion for understanding how data can drive meaningful insights and decisions. Hung further thanked his professors and peers, and it seems his academic journey has only improved since then. In September 2025, he was awarded a scholarship by the Western users of SAS software. Hung once again celebrated the award on Instagram. At the time, he was wrapping up his 12th consecutive accelerated data science course and was getting ready to present his research. Considering all the time he spent on stage, we have no doubt Hung will kill it at those academic conferences in the coming years.